environment doesn't need us. We need environment. Plastic is not bad. Humans are the worst creation of the world.
Absolutely.
And yesterday Mumbai was flooding. The only reason of Mumbai flooding is
Being
I know them
speak and-
really well. I have screwed them on the messages also because next day after clicking the photos, next day no one is bothered to go to those plants. Jai, this is Dr. Chinu Kwatra, and today we are at the next episode of the CSR Talks with Chinu Kwatra, where we talk about corporate, where we talk about social, where we talk about responsibility, where we talk about sustainability, where we talk about climate, where we talk about everything which is needed to breathe, everything which is needed to care, everything which is needed to love. And today with me, I have my very good friend, that is Avnee. Thank you so much for being here. She's I would say the green warrior. She's the founder of Green Pistachio, and she's doing sustainability work since years now. She have been a part of CSR journey since the birth of CSR, I would say. So welcome to the next episode of our podcast, where you have been honored us by your presence, and thank you so much for being there. Before starting anything, I would love all my guests to talk about their own introduction, because we believe in introduction which comes from the heart, not from the scripts. So we want people to talk about themselves in their own language. So over to you, Avnee.
Thank you so much. First of all, I think the honor is all mine. It's really very kind of you to have invited me and showcasing Green Pistachio and our work. So thank you for that. As an introduction, I think I'll keep it short, or I'll try. So I did my master's in biodiversity and conservation in 2010 is when I finished the degree, and there was one elective subject called managing social and environmental responsibility, and that's when my interest for social and environmental responsibility sort of took seed, you can say. And but at that time, CSR in India, around 2009, 2010 was still like a voluntary guideline. So people who wanted to do it could do it. If you didn't want to, it was a choice. Yeah. Of course, some companies had already made the right choice. They were already doing great work. And I got an opportunity to work with one of the projects like that in Gujarat, where I was working on a project that was working on conservation of whale sharks. This was a project funded by Tata Chemicals in partnership with Wildlife Trust of India. And that really opened my eyes into the intricacies of not only wanting to do good or wanting to make a difference, but also how the entire planning and execution of such a project needs to be done in order to have the right kind of impact. The other thing I learned was that whether you talk about environmental responsibility or social responsibility, they are inextricably linked. Right. You cannot have one without doing the other. True. So that's when I realized that, okay, working in the field is one thing, but this is another way to look at making an impact, where you're an organization, you're a company that has a presence, that has the money, that has the power to make that impact, and how you use it for good.
Right.
So that was the beginning, I suppose. Wow. After that, of course, a lot of things happened in my personal life, got married, had a baby, all those things. And soon after, I got a chance to work with WWF India, which was like my dream ever since I was, studying in 12th standard, when you're studying like your PCM biology and those kind of subjects. Even then I wanted to work with WWF. Nice. So even though it was a lot later in life than I imagined, but as soon as I got the chance, I jumped at it, and I was doing fundraising. So again, there was a lot of interaction with a lot of corporates, and by then the 2013 Companies Act had already been passed, and the CSR guideline had now become a mandate. It was not a voluntary action.
Right.
So that gave me a lot of insight. I think in a short span of like around 2 years, I spoke to hundreds of corporates and met with several of them to try and understand, what they wanted to do, how they were doing it, and how they could contribute to the work that WWF India was doing. And I had a lot of interesting insights at that point, actually.
Okay.
Because a lot of people refuse to believe that environmental and social responsibility go hand in hand.
Environment is a side baby. It is not. It is loved only when there is a special environment days.
Absolutely. And so, in the last 10 years, since 2015, when CSR reporting became a thing,
Right.
to now, I have noticed that there has been an actual very categorical shift.
Definitely,
Where
yes.
at that time people were saying, but it's CSR, we want numbers, we want impact, which we can show on paper.
Right.
So why are you asking us to support an environmental project? Why are
Right.
you asking us to support a wildlife project?
Wildlife project.
To now, where people are saying, oh, but we have ESG targets, we have ESG goals,
Right.
so we just want to plant trees.
Karma.
Yeah.
I would say it is karma. It gives you back.
Also, it's a lot of it's a way. I think this linear thinking is something that really needs to change.
Right.
Where you're only thinking in one direction and not looking at the whole 360-degree view of
Exactly.
what needs to be done.
Exactly.
So, and also there is a confusion between sustainability, ESG, and CSR.
A lot of confusion.
A lot of people seem to think that they're all the same, but they're
True.
not. They're
True.
very, very distinct.
True.
Although equally necessary and equally important in terms of impact, but they're not the same.
Definitely are. And I've been a part of this environment journey since 2008, I suppose. I started my Nature's Club when I was in 12th standard in my college. And I took my team for tree adoption procedure in Mathiran. And since then, I've been closely connected to environment. And I always say that environment doesn't need us. We need environment. Because the moment we were caged in the year 2020 during COVID, environment was breathing. The skyline of Mumbai was happy. We could see and feel the breath of Mumbai city itself. And Delhi was again blooming because the people were inside their homes. And that's how environment is a prior topic which need to be discussed. Still now it is on number 3. But I always feel that environment should be the number 1 priority for any human being to come up with. I always feel that. With this, I know that CSR is a journey of yours. You have seen CSR before 2014-13 and after 2013-14 also. So, how did this industry has totally evolved in India?
There have been a lot of changes where people are looking at it as something that they want to do,
Right.
rather than something that they just have to do because
Right.
it's a mandate. So
Right.
that's a good thing. But I think you just mentioned before we started, it hasn't changed much. And you're right about that, because people are still focusing on those few areas and trying to grow their reach or their impact in terms of numbers or in terms of spends. But geographically, it hasn't reached all parts of the country like it should. Because if you look at the numbers in terms of spends, then aspirational cities or towns still aren't getting that much CSR money.
Right.
And those are the places where in terms of sectors, if you look at, then that's the place where you should focus on things like sanitation, education, gender empowerment. And these sectors are still not getting as much attention
Right.
as they should, The other thing that I have noticed is, well, again, I'll say that this changes, there's some changes that has happened for good and some not great, where people are still looking at CSR as a donation kind of an activity,
Right.
not as a core strategy for their
Right.
business, which is something that really needs to change. Because when you start looking at CSR as a part of your entire sustainability strategy, because imagine, so to explain sustainability, ESG and CSR, I'll give you a small example. Imagine you're a family and you decide to, have a better impact, have a positive impact on the environment and the world that you live in.
Right.
The things that you do in your everyday life, the choices that you make, the way that you live, that is sustainability. The impact that you have because of these choices. So let's say that starting tomorrow, I decide to eat more plant-based meals.
Right.
Now, that is my sustainability action or my sustainable living. The impact that it has on my life and on the environment and the planet, which is that lesser emissions and better planet health, that is ESG, which is measurable.
Right.
And then CSR is when this family then decides to go out and give back.
True.
A little bit of what they have learned, a little bit of what they want to teach other people to do. So these three things all need to work together rather than in silos to be able to actually achieve the impact that we're looking for and that we need today, not just in our country but globally. But I see that it's lagging behind in our country because that understanding of all these things is still a little bit, we're lagging behind.
Definitely, yaar. And with this, you answered my already the second question, which is what are the gaps that the CSR still need to address. And since you have mentioned it in a very elaborative way, I just want to understand which all sectors you are seeing in CSR right now, and which all sectors you want to introduce yourself in CSR now. Because as we were speaking just before the camera were on, about some thematic areas where the corporates are trying to work in, but the other thematic areas are 100% ignored. So any of those thematic areas where you feel which need to be introduced?
I think the top priority, and I'm sure you'll agree with me on this because you yourself run an organization that does work towards material recovery and recycling.
Right.
That needs to be our top priority in the country. And it's not just for corporates, it's at every level, whether it's individual, whether it's corporate and government as well. So when we're talking about policy, we need to ensure that the policy framework supports lesser production of new plastic, more use of recycled plastic in the mainstream.
Right.
Not just as extra products that you're making and selling. This should be done just, plastic waste should now be used circularly more than ever. I mean, yes, reduce and refuse and all that, but recycling is very, very important because sometimes you cannot refuse.
Right.
For example, healthcare.
True.
So what are you going to do? Like what material will you use for disposable syringes and so many things that you use in healthcare are made of plastic because they serve a particular function.
Right.
And there is no other material right now that can serve that function.
Right.
But it's important that when that waste is generated, it gets reused and put back into the loop rather than just being dumped and treated as waste.
Exactly. So I always say this very bold line for which people also don't agree to me sometimes. It is always that plastic is not bad, humans are the worst creation of the world. Because they don't know how to manage their own garbage. They don't know how to take care of their own garbage. They don't know to take the responsibility. It's like similar to in India, especially when you go abroad, people are there. The moment you land abroad, you feel you are super sophisticated, you will throw your garbage in the garbage bin.
Yeah.
But the moment you land up in India, you think it is government responsibility. It is not my responsibility. मैं तो गाड़ी से कचरा फेंकूंगा. And yesterday Mumbai was flooding. The only reason of Mumbai flooding is not the drainages and sewages, but the choking of drainages and sewages which is happening because of our litter.
Correct.
हम openly कचरा फेंकेंगे, गटर में जाएगा, गटर से it will go to sewage and it will end to oceans. And that's how it is disaster. India is known as the maximum producer of garbage, majorly into plastic waste. Why India can't be a maximum recycling, having maximum recycling centers and products made of recycled? So the government should come up with compliances part where the taxation for recycling should be reduced. The people should be willing to get into scrap because India की mentality है नहीं तो कचरे का काम कर रहे हैं. So that is also the another I don't see young entrepreneurs getting into recycling part because their family would feel कि यार ये तो कचरे पे खेल रहा. But I feel that when you have a solution, why not work for it?
Correct.
And definitely recycling is something very close to my heart. I feel that I should be called as Recycled Man of India because everything I see in this room also, it can be recycled.
Absolutely.
You just need a heart at the right place.
100%. And all you need to do is think, just छोटा सा माइंडसेट
यार मैं तो कॉमर्स का बंदा हूँ, मैं तो साइंस भी नहीं पढ़ा, तो भी मुझे पता चल जाता है कि ये रिसाइकल हो सकता है कि नहीं हो सकता.
पर ये रॉकेट साइंस है ही
है
नहीं
ही
ना.
नहीं, राइट,
ये कॉमन
एग्जैक्टली,
सेंस है, लेकिन
एग्जैक्टली,
कॉमन सेंस इज मिसिंग.
एग्जैक्टली. कॉमन सेंस इज द बिगेस्ट सेंस which
The
we
other
need.
thing that I would really advocate for is more trees, for sure, and
Right.
less deforestation.
Right.
Because हम जो ये development, construction, infrastructure, bridges, roads, malls, buildings सब बना रहे हैं, लेकिन अगर इनमें इनके you know इनमें जाने वाले जो लोग हैं उनके लिए अगर ऑक्सीजन नहीं है दुनिया में, तो ये सब लेके हम क्या करेंगे.
True.
मतलब यू आर रीचिंग फ्रॉम टाउन टू आई डोंट नो बोरिवली इन 40 minutes, बट व्हाट इज द पॉइंट.
Right.
You know, if we don't have enough trees within and around our
Right.
city to absorb the emissions that we're generating through the building of these roads, using of these roads every day, you know, our cars, our electricity, everything, then there is no point. Our life has no meaning.
Right.
Because we're breaking nature in a way that is just wrong. It's absolutely
Definitely.
not. Sorry.
No, definitely. It is always said that development comes with a cost, and unfortunately nowadays the cost is bared by the environment. And also on the other side, I have seen people are fighting for deforestation, but they are staying in a place where the forest was cut and a skyscraper was made. So there are also difference between these kind of people also, who want to be known as an activist on ground, but they stay in a place where the forest is totally cut and a skyscraper is made. So but the best idea is to co-create.
Yes.
If you are living in some place, make sure that you are not creating more garbage, you are into more greens, you are not planting but adopting trees. Plantation has gone. Every year lakhs and lakhs, millions of millions trees have been planted. Where are they?
They die.
Where are they? Because next day after clicking the photos, next day no one is bothered to go to those plants.
Correct.
And see whether they are surviving or not. So that plant adoption is the key. So abhi one Mahotsav aa raha hai. Many people will go for plantation, but I suggest people to do adoption. आपके पास जितने plants बचे हैं उसको adopt कर लो, कम से कम उसको ध्यान रख लो. My idea is this way.
Yeah, agreed. And as far as communities are concerned, मतलब अगर आप society में रह रहे हो, तो at least that area you can take responsibility for and say कि यहाँ हम ज़्यादा पेड़ लगाएंगे, यहाँ हम ज़्यादा पेड़ नहीं काटेंगे. So these are very simple things for us to do. You don't need corporate action. You don't even need any kind of government involvement for this.
Again, you just need sense.
You just need common sense. So this is my second thing. And also, I have to add here that the smaller, I shouldn't say smaller, but the other sustainability development goals, there are 17 of them.
Right.
Okay, and people just focus on environment, health, and waste management. So yes, these are important. They are very important because without these basic things, other things don't make sense.
Right.
But it's not like you can ignore everything else.
Right.
You cannot ignore nutrition. You cannot ignore agriculture. You cannot ignore sustainable infrastructure, gender empowerment, gender inequality. Climate में भी अगर देखो तो there is so much that you can do, whether it's climate inequality, climate justice, there's just so many things. So I would say that diversify, but for the long term.
Right.
Instead of looking at it as a one-time donation, you commit for a longer period of time and then you will see the results. It's like making an investment. When you invest in a business, do you give money for 1 year and say, chalo, ek saal baad, I want to see these results and then bye-bye. No, right? You're a partner. You're a partner for
you
life.
Wait, you have that patience that things will dwell. You put up your energy, you make sure that the profits comes out well. For here, the profit is the society.
Yes.
The beneficiaries are the cream of our societies who will be developed, who will push India as a developed nation, I feel. So, what inspired Green Pistachio to focus on sustainability and eco-consciousness initiative?
Couple of things. So if I had to put it very simply and like in a nutshell, because we're Green Pistachio, I had and I still continue to have a major problem with two things in our country. One is the kind of content we're creating and consuming, and the other is the way that we're looking at CSR.
Okay, yeah.
So, Green Pistachio was my way, our way of fighting back a little bit. I have two more partners who I work with, and it's our way of fighting back this, you know, pointless stuff that we're doing, listening to, watching, reading, making today just for the sake of virality or, you know, just influencing. Because what are we influencing? If you're not influencing for good, please don't do it. Just
And
don't bother.
the people are not influenced by themselves. Whatever they are putting on social media, they are not influenced by themselves.
Yeah, they're
And
just
then
doing it
how
for the
can
money.
they call them as an influencer?
Because they're getting paid, they have a certain number of people watching them. So it's a, you know, catch-22 situation.
Right.
Because there are all these people who are watching them also.
Right.
And I'm like, why are they watching this rubbish? So it was our way of, you know, creating awareness in a way that is relatable and also in a way that is actionable. So a lot of, if you see a lot of people who talk about sustainability are either activists or they're selling you a product. You know, they're a sustainable product brand.
Right.
And there's nothing in between.
Right.
So we didn't want to be either of them. We didn't want to push more products into the market because that's definitely not what we need. And we didn't want to be activists because there are enough. And it's just not something that I do well, you know. So we want to make content that is relatable to just everybody. If you look
Right.
at our website, you'll see that there is something for everyone.
Right.
And all of it is always actionable. There is something that a person coming to our website and reading something or watching something can do about that particular cause or about that particular product or about that particular company. They can support it in some way or another. So we're kind of completing that entire sustainability journey for a person, making it easier for them so that it doesn't seem like something out of the ordinary that they have to
Right.
do. You know, the minute you tell someone कि ये extra करना है, people are like, नहीं, मुझे time नहीं है, I don't
Right.
want to, I don't, you know, I
Right.
can't.
Right.
But the minute you tell people that this is just life, this is just, and it is, right? It needs
True,
to
true,
be.
true.
It cannot be one add-on.
True.
It has to become part and parcel of how we live every day,
Right.
of our entire being as humans.
Definitely, yaar. It is very important to make sustainability a part of our life, which was earlier. The older days, we feel we have seen our grandfathers, grandmothers, ancestors. They never spoke about sustainability because it was a part of their
It was
life.
normal.
It was normal. Nowadays, people are paying heavy amount just to be sustainable.
Exactly. And I find that very ironic, you know. I
Right.
find it very, very funny because if you were to break it down, we're not talking about anything that's new. I am literally talking about most of the things I learned from my grandmother.
Exactly.
But just packaging it in a way that this newer generation
Right.
and this newer crop of people
Right.
understand it better,
Right.
and it becomes, and also it gives them, you know, if you know what it takes to be contagious or to be popular in today's day and age, you should read this book called Contagious by Jonah Berger. And one of the things he talks about is social currency.
Right.
So we may think that we're doing good or we're doing charity or we're doing whatever we're doing to make us feel good. But it's not. That act does not make us feel good. It's what we get because we show it to 10 other people and they all say, wow, wonderful, well
Right.
done. That feeling is what makes us feel good.
Definitely.
So that is called social currency. So
Right.
we're like, okay, fine. If that's what it takes, that's what it takes. So we're providing a platform for people who are doing good to showcase their
Showcase
work.
that, right.
Because आज वो ज़माना नहीं रहा कि नेकी कर कुएं में डाल. आज वो ज़माना है नेकी कर Instagram पे डाल.
No, definitely, and definitely it is much needed also. तभी तो लोग inspired होंगे यार. लोग आपको अगर देख के एक बंदा भी बदलता है. So this was Independence Day. I went to my Palghar Boys school. I saw my children wearing army uniform, and I remember my time that I wanted to be in army, but I couldn't be there. And that day I made myself a promise that, and I put it on the social media also, that I couldn't be in army, but I'll make sure that one student out of my school or my mentoring will definitely join the defense, because that's how I will win in my life. That मैं नहीं कर पाया, but मैंने शायद बच्चों को इतना mentor कर दिया, इतना पढ़ा पाया कि वो सोच सक रहे हैं कि वो आर्मी में जाए. So that's how I feel the motivational and the push should come from. Having said that, you spoke about Instagram, we spoke about content creator. I just wanted to understand, according to you, what are the skills required if a person needs to be in the sustainable professional journey? He or she wants to take up a job regarding to sustainability or ESG. What are the basic skills or one important skill you feel should be there?
I will say here that it's important to educate yourself about the problems there are that need to be solved. Otherwise, your efforts will just end up being ad hoc things that you kind of just react to, rather than something that is proactively done. Which is what we need today. Just like in healthcare, you don't always have to focus on finding a cure when the disease happens.
Right.
You sometimes just work on building immunity, which is called preventive care.
Right.
So similarly, for the planet, for the environment, for CSR, it's very important for a person to be educated about, okay, how can certain things be avoided right in the beginning, at the outset. So I'll say that skill-wise, sure, you need to have things, you need to know things like data management, reporting, budgeting, finance, those kind of basic skills.
Right.
But more important, very, very important, is the fact that you have the kind of commitment, patience, and a lot of passion for what you're doing.
Exactly.
If you're doing it just for the sake of doing it, it's not going to
Right.
work. Also, if you're doing it thinking that you're going to get an overnight result, that's not going to work. You need
Right.
to have the patience to see it through, the resilience to keep working when things don't go your way, because
Right.
these are things that are much bigger than us. Nature is not something we can control.
Right.
So results are not something that will always work the way that you expect them, or the way that they show up in your data sheets and your
True.
charts. And
True.
so these things, as a person, I would say are very, very important for someone wanting to work in this field.
Definitely, I definitely buy your point when you said about education, because I've seen many people jumping into sustainability or climate action without knowing the ABC of that. Honestly, when I started my beach cleanup, ocean cleanup, I didn't know there's high tide, low tide of ocean. So there was time where we put up the number timing for the beach cleanup. We went there where we are not seeing any kachra
Sand.
only there. It's all water, water, water. And that day I realized that this also have high tide, low tide, because since childhood what we heard, रात के समय जब चांद आता है तो पानी बाहर आता है, और जब चांद नहीं रहता है दिन में पानी अंदर रहता है, which is wrong. It's not about that. High tide and low tide is totally different. It is not, it may be related to your moon and sun, but it is not that way the way we think.
No, it's not night and day. It's not
It's a night and day.
No.
And I realized that. And then I started studying on my own, okay, what are we doing, whether it is doing right or wrong. When we find dead fishes, dead turtles, what need to be done for that.
Correct.
Plastic which we are collecting, many recyclers said no to us because they don't want to do it. They don't want to take beach waste. For them it is kachra, to which I made a treasure now for myself, my children and everyone. So that's how the learning comes. The education is very core important if definitely people wants to see themselves as a sustainability professional. So with this, I need to understand what is the biggest challenges you have faced in promoting sustainable practices. The reason I'm laughing is because I know the answers very well, because I'm into the same space right now. But I'm sure you are into promoting sustainable practices, right? So what are the challenges you have faced in terms of that, the corporate CSR, or any other challenges you have seen in this journey of Green Pistachio, or CSR journey of 11 years, or the sustainable part?
There are several. So I also
I know
get,
this answer.
I get why you're laughing because there are so many I don't know where to start.
Right.
But mainly, again, I will reiterate that people often just look at it as something that they need to do. You know, इतना expense दिखाना है paper पे.
खर्चा दिखाना है.
हाँ. तो ये साल किसको दे?
हाँ.
And then they go through like a list of some 5-10 top NGOs or some people who approach them with some fantastic results. But that's not the way to do it.
Right.
They really need to understand that long-term commitment is very, very, very important to see real on-ground change. And this I am 100% sure you have experienced several
Definitely.
times with your not-for-profits where
Definitely.
you talk to people for funding.
Right.
I've also seen where funding has stopped for a certain project because corporate का CEO बदल गया.
मजा नहीं आ रहा है उनको.
हाँ, तो ये नए CEO, he doesn't like trees.
Yes.
I mean, there are so many things wrong with
Yes.
that statement on so many levels. I
Right.
don't know where to start.
Right.
You know, so that's one thing. The other thing that I feel is really lacking, and this is the gap that we're trying to fill through Green Pistachio, is that people are not talking about their sustainability initiatives or their CSR projects enough because they feel like ये तो mandate है, हमें तो करना ही है वैसे. What's the point? On the one hand, they want visibility. They want to be associated with a certain NGO or a certain cause, but they're not looking at that in the right way, which is that by talking about your work, you're also promoting that cause.
Right.
You're also generating awareness amongst the general public, amongst your consumers for that particular cause. So tomorrow, even if you stop supporting that NGO, all of these people that have been an audience, whether passive or active, will or can start supporting that particular cause.
Right.
Because NGOs don't only function on CSR money.
Definitely.
That would not again be viable. They
Right.
also need citizens and just general public masses to be invested in them. And this is the only way, because today we live in a capitalist democracy. Whatever the oligarchs are telling us is what we're really paying attention to. We're all aspirational. जो celebrities कर रहे हैं हमें भी करना होता है. जो सबसे HNI, जो top 1% दुनिया के हैं वो जो कर रहे हैं हमें भी करना होता है.
Right.
चाहे वो whether it's good, bad, ugly, we don't even stop to think sometimes. You know.
Right.
So what if all these people started promoting the good things? And
True.
this is why we think that more people should talk about the work that they're doing towards having a positive impact. Whether it's in your sustainability core strategy, whether it's in your processes, business processes, product management, product manufacturing, marketing, whatever it is, you should talk about it so that more people are inspired to do the same thing.
Definitely. And with this ना जब आपने challenge का बात किया, and I was also laughing. I remember one instance with a corporate. So it happened with us that we have couple of activities where we do employee engagement with corporates in like seed ball making, paper bag making, Hunger Heroes activity. So there's one corporate who came to me and Chinu, हमने last year seed ball किया था, this year कुछ नया लाओ ना. And that naya is a big challenge to me. मतलब think about this thing. If you're saying you have done tree plantation last year, we don't want to do it today. We have done beach cleanups last year, we don't want to do it today. Why not do it today? Why not repeat it for 5 years? आप लोग साल में एक बार आ रहे हो क्लीन अप करने के लिए, ठीक है. आप वो क्लीन अप एटलीस्ट 5 इयर्स के लिए साल में एक बार बांध लो ना. वो तो कर सकते हैं लोग कि एटलीस्ट 5 इयर्स का कमिटमेंट दैट वंस इन अ ईयर ऑन द सेम डे वी विल बी हियर टू प्रमोट दिस काइंड ऑफ वर्क. बट पीपल नया दिखाओ. जैसे मार्केट भाजी लेने जाते हैं, सब्जी लेने जाते हैं, हम मार्केट में जाते हैं, कुछ नया दिखाओ. सेम एटीट्यूड आज के डेट में अनफॉर्चुनेटली CSR सेक्टर में आ गया है कि यू डोंट हैव समथिंग न्यू. You are doing the same old thing again and again, which I am facing right now. Reason, it is 8 years of khushiyan. We are into multiple projects, we are running. When now people come up, you're still doing beach cleanups. There is nothing new. Still doing, मतलब you should be appreciating. मैं 8 साल से, it has been more than 2000 cleanups we have done till date, and still you are asking us.
And the funniest part is that people don't look at the other side of it, that we are still throwing trash.
Yes.
We are still creating this
Exactly.
for us to have to go and clean them.
Exactly.
You know, that side nobody looks
Nobody
at.
wants to do. But वो नया दिखाव वाला चक्कर ना, I don't understand with the CSRs and the employee engagement HR people where they हमारे employees को मज़ा नहीं आएगा, last time उन्होंने ये किया था, and this is the big corporates I'm talking about,
I
not the
know.
smaller one. But it feels so disheartened to understand कि what नया we should create now. मतलब my teammates are getting thrashed from me because they come up with me कि चिनू दादा उन्होंने बोला है हमें कि कुछ नया करो. I don't want to associate with them. I don't want to work with them. What नया? It is a social sector. It is not any a fashion industry or any electrical appliances industry that हम नया चीज़ें product launch करेंगे, नई service launch करेंगे. No, it is the same old thing. आपको जब तक बूढ़े अबेंडेंट हो रहे हैं तब तक आपको सीनियर सिटीजन होम में जाके वही काम करना पड़ेगा एवरी ईयर ऑन ईयर. यू कांट से कि नया दिखाओ करके. या
But you know, I also have a small contention about this कि अगर 5 NGOs हैं जो similar sectors में काम कर रहे हैं but doing slightly different things, they should also collaborate, na?
No one wants to, na.
Why?
No, I don't know why competition level has come in the NGO sector. I remember 2014, after my depression and everything, when I came back to my life, I started with social service. At that time, I didn't see any NGOs or I didn't plan to have any NGOs.
Because ये CSR के बाद ही आए हैं ना सारे.
हाँ 2014 जैसे CSR घुसा and then people at 2% इसका ये 100 करोड़ कमा रही है, ये प्रॉफिट अगर इसका 80 करोड़ है, 80 करोड़ का 2% हमें मिल सकता है. That's the way people have thought of making NGOs and not because they want to do something for the society.
Correct.
And then when I saw my journey into beach cleanups, into this, there are 10 people doing beach cleanups in India, Bombay. Nobody is ready to collaborate. Nobody is coming up to me कि Chinu, you have started MRF for plastic waste management, special for beach cleanups. Can we give our beach ka kachra to you?
Here I will say please take ours because we are planning another one soon. We'd be more than happy to.
I don't mind, but I want people to come up with that intention कि Chinu, ठीक है, we are not doing this, we are sending it to another landfills or another ocean. You are doing this, take our kachra. At least you start processing it. But people are, no, we want to start something on our own. We will find a new rice recycler.
In fact, we even reached out to some people. You know, last month we did a great beach cleanup, right, for Plastic Free July.
Yeah.
People actually didn't reply. They didn't even bother to reply. And these are people I'm talking about who are getting Ecopreneur awards and being invited to
I know
speak
them really well. I have screwed them on the messages also. I saw their LinkedIn and last year ke Ganpati pe some recycler has posted that they had done the cleanups and everything and this is the garbage we have collected and recycled. There was a number. I called upon that number. I am doing this every Saturday since last 8 years.
Why are you not doing it with us?
Please take my garbage. I am ready to pay the transportation.
Correct.
I am ready to pay the processing cost also. If you have any processing cost, please take my garbage. Give me some document that this garbage is processed here. No, we can't take some beach cleanup का garbage. मैं बोला that was written on your post on LinkedIn. So बोलती no, हमने सिर्फ उसमें से 2% लिया. मैं बोला write it on your LinkedIn ना 2% लिया. Which means you have already taken the plastic which was sold in the market and you have left out polythenes, you have left out milk pouches, you have left out MLP packaging, everything then and there itself. Then don't claim that you are recycling. And the reason I started my own recycling unit because I got rejection since last 8 years. I like, तुम नहीं ले रहे ना, अब मैं करूँगा, मैं करके दिखाऊंगा. And we have made school benches out of our own beach waste. We have made our own garbage bags, which will be this 30th को जो हमारा cleanup है, उसमें जो हमारा टेबल लगता है वो टेबल टॉप इज मेड ऑफ आर बीच वेस्ट. द गार्बेज बैग्स व्हिच विल बी यूजिंग टू पिक अप द गार्बेज एंड कलेक्ट द गार्बेज इज मेड फ्रॉम आर बीच वेस्ट. सो दैट नाउ आई विल शो इट टू द पीपल कि हम ये कर रहे हैं करके. व्हाई नॉट कम एंड सपोर्ट अस दैट वे.
You know, the other really crazy challenge or absolutely mad thing that we have seen since we started Green Pistachio is people saying all kinds of things which are so obviously untrue. And these are big companies, big corporates, you know, who are saying things like we have planted so many 1,000 million trees, we have recycled so many tons of plastic. Where? There is actually Coca-Cola, there is actually an article that says that they have included 48% recycled material in their plastic packaging. Please tell me how that is even possible, because recycled material is not used for
Food and
F&B.
beverage, yes, it is.
So
it
it's
is
not even possible. Matlab,
Right.
how are you making such claims? The other one was, of course, the famous IPL dot ball.
Yeah.
So they said that we planted all these trees for every dot ball that was bowled in the IPL, and we said, oh wow, that's fantastic, let's write about this. When we started actually talking to the people, and they have given names of people that, names of organizations, names of NGOs that they've partnered with, so to speak. We started calling them, nothing.
No answers.
Nothing. Cricket ke badle crickets the.
So yeah, we find people always feel that social sector you will be finding always humble people. People can hear this out. There is always a different face of people in social sector also, where they definitely showcase themselves as the biggest, kindest people on the earth, but unfortunately they are not on the right track.
Yeah, and I think greenwashing is a very, very euphemistic term for that. It's too subtle. मतलब इनके लिए कुछ और नाम
आजकल तो
होना
लोग
चाहिए.
इमेज मेकओवर के लिए काम कर रहे हैं, पता है इसके लिए. जस्ट टू चेंज देयर इमेज दे स्टार्ट सोशल सर्विस.
Yeah, of course.
It is in nowadays. You do some crime, you say some galia on some of the show, and then go to distribute food to the people. That's how people try. They are trying to change their scenario. They go towards bhakti nowadays. They go towards being a very saint इंसान कि मैं तो ऐसा ही हूँ, मेरी मम्मी ने तो ऐसे ही बोला. It's not right. It's
Yeah,
not
it's
right.
not true.
The world will see any which ways.
Yeah.
The world will see. It's all social media and लोग तो देख ही लेंगे कभी ना कभी. Yeah. So coming back to one of the last question, then we'll head back to our something very important and funny, I would say, the rapid fire round. The last one is, since Green Pistachio is speaking, it's a movement, I would say, to voice out people's initiative, right? Where people talk about their initiative, where people promote their initiative. First, how can they approach you people? Second, how did you list down? Because I am sure there are thousands of people are doing good and they are not getting the space right now. I will talk about myself only. When I do something good, until and unless that post is viral on social media, I don't get any media attention. So या तो मुझे उनको मेल करना पड़ता है कि मैंने ये काम किया प्लीज़ देख लो, मैंने ये काम किया प्लीज़ देख लो. So how can your platform help those people to leverage their activity and talk about their activity?
So this is actually one of the main reasons or the main things that we based Green Pistachio on. You know, Green Pistachio is a channel that talks about all these initiatives, all, you know, the kind of people that do this work or companies that do this work, so that you can cut through the noise. Because आप Instagram पे जाओगे, the whole thing when it comes to virality is governed by some algorithm which nobody understands.
True.
Nobody knows.
True.
And again, like I said, there are so many people doing so many different things, and every day it changes. You know, so how do you cut through that noise? Which is why we've created this place, which is like a safe space for anyone looking for green things, looking for eco-friendly things, looking for social impact, environmental impact, you know, positive impact, can come to and find everything that they need under one roof.
Right.
The second thing that our platform does is that it connects NGOs to corporates. So when we talk about an NGO, we make sure we verify the impact. We look at exactly what they're doing, and whatever, you know, if you're making a claim that you've impacted so many numbers of people, or, you know, reforested so much land, whatever it is, we will verify it so
Right.
that anyone coming to our website knows that this is not just, you know, fake news or something that someone's paid us to do.
Right.
It's absolutely true as to our best knowledge.
Right.
So, based on these things, of course, we try and work with people who are doing a lot of work, but sometimes there are also new people who approach us. You know, new people who are wanting to get into this space, and we help them out by, again, promoting them to an audience who is already aware of this.
Right.
They do not need an education to begin with. So all of our subscribers, all of the people who visit our website, all of the people who are reading and watching our content are people who are already interested in this. And then from there it grows.
Right.
Then when they talk like word of mouth or through sharing with their friends and family, that's how the reach grows. So we're not looking for virality because we're not a virus. It's simple as that.
Virality is a virus. Please keep a note.
Yeah, because if you look at the term virus, it was always a bad thing.
Right.
Who made it something that we all want to be, that we're all dying to be?
Right.
So that's not our intention at all. I mean, it's great. We get views, fantastic. But we know that we have committed individuals, people who want to make that change, who are looking for you, looking to know about whatever it is that you're doing. So if you want that kind of an audience to be involved in your journey, then that is what we are offering.
Lovely, yaar. And to the people who are watching this, if you're doing anything good, any sort of good deed, and you have the proof of it, I would say, आपके पास जो impact numbers आप कर रहे हो, भले आपने वो notebook में लिखा हो या Excel में उतारा हो, definitely share it with Green Pistachio to voice out your work, because we need people like you to come out and be a warrior for this country, because the hidden gems, the hidden heroes are sitting there watching this, definitely wants to do something for their society, but they don't know the platform. So the Green Pistachio is here to talk about it, talk about your journey, make your journey as their journey, and work as a family for our own country. Thank you so much, Avnee, for all this insightful conversation, I would say. I've learned a lot today, one. Second, I've also come out of all my क्या बोलते हैं, anger नहीं बोलूँगा, but मेरे अंदर जो भरा हुआ था in terms of recycling and everything, which I wanted to talk, and I never thought I'll talk on camera and everything, but it's needed. It's highly needed. People need to understand where they are, what they are doing, and they are doing ABC, someone is doing XYZ. Why not collab? Why not work together? Because it is always said that, मैंने Instagram पे किधर तो पढ़ा था, and it is always felt that at the top level there is no competition, it is all collaboration.
Correct.
So people who are thinking that the toppest level, the industrialist of India are having competition, no. Internally they are doing a collaboration. So that's how we win in the life, when we do collaborations. With this, let's start with a rapid fire round. Some quirky question where we talk about sustainability and the environment and the social sector. First question is, what is the favorite environmental habit of yours?
Oh, my bottle, water bottle, my own.
The best part, you need to have that buddy with you.
Yes.
Go everywhere, so that हम एक bottle अपने life से हम कम कर सकें.
It's like my security blanket now. If it's not there, no, I start feeling anxious.
Yeah, so similarly sometimes it happens with everyone that एक particular चीज़ आपको चाहिए otherwise you feel अधूरा, lonely, alone.
Correct.
So one thing which is there is the bottle, and everyone who is there out there, please carry your own water bottle. Let's not waste water bottles. Even more, पता है recycling चल रही, तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं कचरा और फैलाते जाओ, right? Dream CSR project with unlimited resources.
It will have to be the first one that I ever worked on, the whale shark conservation project, because they're just simply beautiful animals. And if you have ever seen one in real life, you will never forget that, ever.
So can you tell me something short about this project, whale shark? Because I really loved. I love ocean, and I feel I want to see dolphins on our beaches in Mumbai, but I don't know.
Goa you might, but
Goa I might, but Mumbai में देखने के लिए दूसरा जन्म लेके आना पड़ेगा मुझे शायद. But tell me something about this project now, because I felt very nice when I heard this.
So whale shark is it's the world's biggest fish.
Right.
It's not like whales and dolphins, which are mammals. This is a fish.
Okay.
So it's the world's biggest fish, and they can grow up to 30-35 feet in length. Wow. Like I've seen one that was it was bigger than the boat that we were on.
Oh.
You know, these fishing boats.
Wow.
And they are found all over the world, but they're also migratory species. So they migrate all the way from African shores to Indian to, you know, some of the other, like Japan and all of these places as well. What had happened was that earlier, because it's a very big fish, so it's easy to hunt. And because shark fin soup and shark liver oil and all, you know, these kind of products are so popular and so, you know, so there's so much money involved in selling these, that a lot of fishermen had started to hunt them. So there were lakhs and lakhs of them being killed on the shores of Gujarat. So there is a film called The Shores of Silence by Mike Pandey, which was what sparked this awareness about this species and what's happening and how they need to be protected. So then in 2001, there was a ban introduced on their hunting. Now, of course, the minute you ban something, there are a whole lot of other implications. Because if a fisherman is catching a fish and getting $1.5 lakh for one fish, in whatever 5 days, 10 days, wo tumhara luck hai. But guaranteed 1.5 lakh for a fish. You know, which was divided amongst whatever 4-5 of them. You don't want to stop killing them, right? So then they came up with an idea of reimbursing fishermen who would let these fish go, because sometimes it also happens that it gets entangled in the net as bycatch. So then you have to cut the net, because it's such a big fish. Kahan, you know, how are you going to get it free otherwise? So they started reimbursing them. So that was the whole project that Tata Chemicals and Wildlife Trust of India were working on, and that I got a chance to be a part of. The other thing is, of course, because it's it's a deep sea fish, right? You don't see it on the shores and things. So it's a species that very little is known about. So there is a lot of work going on in terms of research for its habitat, for its biology. And that was the other thing that we were doing, that we were studying about its habitat, its migratory patterns. So we tagged the first whale shark in India around that time when I was there. And there's also something called a photo identification. So there is actually a database in the world of every whale shark sighting where you've been able to get a proper picture of a particular part of the whale shark, which is used for its identification. So just like a tiger has stripes that can be easily identified, that identify every individual. So whale sharks also have a pattern of these spots, which are individual to every particular whale shark. Fish.
Lovely, yeah. This is so fascinating. I actually went to that world. The next one is most promising CSR initiative in India.
There was a project called Sahasra Jyoti that I got to be a part of for a very short period towards its end. It was, I think, carried out by WWF India in Sundarbans. So that was providing renewable energy to the tribals who are off the grid, basically. So they would depend on the forest for energy, right? So then they actually provided solutions for them so that they had energy access without depending on the forest.
Most pressing social issue that's need attention now.
Kya batao? You know the answer. Waste. Also, I think it's sensitization in marginalized communities of sustainability and just sustainable lifestyle. You know, where we might think कि पानी बचाना है, but we need to also educate people who don't have access to that kind of awareness, because they're not taught in school or they're not taught at home. They just don't think twice, you know. जो मेरे घर में काम करने आते हैं, मैं उनको हमेशा पूछती हूँ कि आपके घर में टैप में 24 घंटे पानी आता है? And the answer is always no. So then I'm thinking, then why are you wasting water in my house? You know, when you should know the value of water, right? So this inherent value of conserving water, conserving resources is something that we're missing out on thoda sa.
Definitely. And when marginalized community, basically when they don't have anything, and then when they see something in abundance, they don't know how to react. Or they don't know how to behave. Because I remember this water initiative, when we went to door-to-door campaign in Worli, it usually happens that people are seeing sukha kachra, gila kachra, right? But they don't know what is gila and what is sukha. For them, a cloth which is a
Wet.
plastic which is wet, it
Is
is gila
gila,
kachra.
yes.
So that knowledge, that basic knowledge needs to be come up.
Correct,
And yeah. So what is the funniest CSR related chat you have had recently?
Again, where to start? Actually, recently, I think the funniest CSR thing has been this IPL dot ball thing.
Right.
That was like by far the highlight of my entire year of doing Green Pistachio, because I was like, how are they just so blatantly making a claim and not worrying about looking bad or whatever. I mean, of course, cricket is worshipped and all in this country, but still, then isn't it then some, on some level, your duty to do
Right.
the right thing?
Right.
So that was one thing. And I think another funny conversation I have had several times over the years, because I did my degree from University of London. So a lot of people have actually asked me, तो वहाँ पे CSR और यहाँ के CSR में क्या फ़र्क है? What are they expecting? What is the answer to that? I have never known till today. I don't know what to say to that.
Yeah, people are always fascinated with wahan ke and yahan ke na, but they don't know the CSR works in a similar pattern and everyone is working for the society. When you talk about CSR, people only think money, but it is more than money.
It's a lot
It is all impact, it is all touching the hearts of beneficiary. It's all grassroots NGOs which are making the voice and which are in the last in the list of any kind of annual reports, because the higher number, the people who are on the higher number are the biggest organization who are getting the biggest funding. But the real work is done by the people who are on the lower numbers, but they have really touched the hearts of people and brought that change. So that's need to be changed, I feel, where the impact, the grassroots NGOs should be given more leverage by the society, by the CSR sectors, so that it opens up doors for many other beneficiaries also, which I feel that way.
Absolutely, and that's why Green Pistachio is here, to be the voice of all these grassroots organizations and initiatives, so that we spread the word.
Lovely. So it was lovely having you here. Though when we started, I always felt that you are very anxious, you won't talk much, I will talk much. But this was a very healthy conversation where we were talking about everything in a transparency. We were not hiding behind the bush. We were talking in front of cameras for the people benefit. And that's how we need the social impact is all about, the transparency. You need to be transparent whatever you're doing. Even if you're planting one tree, be transparent and say कि मैंने एक tree लगाया, which is also a biggest thing, I would say. People always run behind big numbers, but they always forget that smaller numbers are the better.
Yeah, and it all starts there, right?
It all starts
One
there.
small action will add up eventually to bigger impact.
Exactly. So one last message which you would like to give it to people who are watching this, and your audience, my audience, and everyone. Anything you want to say?
For every audience watching any kind of content, wherever it is, whether it's on social media or it's on OTT, I would say at least spend some time of your day, of your life, focusing on sustainable living, and make it something that you don't have to think twice about. And if you need any help, reach out to Green Pistachio, check out our website, subscribe, like, ask questions, engage with us. We'd love to tell you what you want to hear about, rather than the things that we just want to talk about. So that's what we're here for. And let's make sustainability just a lifestyle and not a trend. Let's normalize it for the generations to come.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Avnee, for being here. And it's always a pleasure to meet you, talk about your great work. And today we have actually spoken a lot about raising the voice. And let's see how many people come together to raise the voice.
I think we can definitely start with the two of us. And
always ready.
Right?
Always
this
ready.
is where it begins. So in
Yeah.
case we go on in the future to have some kind of big collaboration, we'll
Right.
know that this is where it all started.
Right. Definitely.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you
Thanks.
so much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Chinu.
Thank you everyone who's watching this. If you like this channel, the small channel where we talk about transparency, in CSR sector, in social sector, and if you feel it from heart that giving back to society is very much important, please get in touch with us. Make us meet the real life heroes who want to be on this channel. You can also, if you want to, if your gut, if you're conscious, if your mind allows you to subscribe, like and comment, you can do that. If not, I am happily, you just watch the video and go away. It's absolutely fine. But please ask the real life heroes to get in touch with us so that we can bring them on this platform and make their voice even more better. Thank you so much.